Hello, folks. Thanks for joining us again as we go through these bylaws and talk about our bylaws and review them. This is going to be number 3 in our series. And I appreciate so much everyone's looking at these. We've already made a change based on some of the comments that were given. I encourage you to try to get all of this looked at in enough time ahead of our next meeting so that we can incorporate all of the new changes into the document. So with having said that, we're going to jump back in where we left off as we were moving through your list. And we're not going to hit, again, everything. Some of it is just language and probably doesn't need an explanation at all. If we do that and there is a question, then please, you can put that in your comments or you can bring it up when we meet. So we're in Article 7, and Article 7 deals with the Board of Directors. And the first change that we're going to see is in Section 6 that has to do with meetings. And what we have done is added the words "unless an emergency exists." And again, all we're doing there is making sure there's adequate notice for everybody. At this particular instance, it's the directors only, making sure there's enough notice for everybody to be available. That's just a common practice. And but we've added an emergency clause there because it requires a week notice. And if we have an emergency, we need to make a decision. We're going to obviously waive that because the emergency is more important. If you skip ahead to Section 8, there are 2 or 3 changes under under Section 8, which is finances. So number 1 there, the old statement, it said all bills shall be paid by check, which is well and good. Back when this document was originally borrowed and used, that was the way everything was done. But now we have electronic funds transfer and we have debit cards. And frankly, over the period of years, we do quite a few of our, pay quite a few of our bills that way. So they're done online just like most of you do. So that's why that is in red. That's been added. In number 4, it says the president, vice president, and secretary treasurer shall have the authority to sign checks and to set up accounts at the bank and to supply signatures for the opening of said accounts. The board of directors may appoint additional signatories as needed for efficient commerce and to protect the checks and balances. And what we've done there is basically try to address the fact that we have 2 signature checks, and we want enough people on that list who can sign the checks so that on any given Sunday when we pay the bills, and that's how we pay them on Sunday, they're all written so that they're here, and those who are signing the checks can review the bills, ask any questions they have, and then sign them. So this in red allows the board of directors to appoint additional people other than just the officers. And we have that now. We just found out that we didn't have bylaw authority to do it, perhaps. So we're changing this and trying to bring this up to speed so that it fits what we actually do. You'll notice that we have removed in number 5, we have removed the word budgeted expenses of the church corporation. We've removed the word budgeted. So it will read, all funds needed for the expenses of the church shall be provided by voluntary contributions, tithes and offerings, etc. And then it goes on to talk about giving, and that's reiterated in other places, it has to do with membership, and it's also on the membership application. So what we're doing with this is basically trying to provide some clarity and understanding. I really don't know why the word budgeted is there. The church has other expenditures that are not necessarily budgeted. And it almost looks like in the original document, again, this is a borrowed document, that in the original document, the corporation wanted the leeway to to raise money other than through giving. I don't know if that was through grants. I don't know. Anyway, so the word budgeted there has just been removed. Again, if you have questions about that, or again, if we want all eyes to look at this and a lot of minds to be thinking about it, because there may be some contingency that hasn't been thought of yet, and that's where your input comes in. So please do that. Number 6, and 6, I don't know why that's, the number itself should not be bold and with a strike through, we will change that. That's an error. It says the pastor will be supported according to his needs, and we're just removing those words. I'm not sure what that means. That, I think, comes out of a very old denominational terminology. So either by free will offerings or by stated allowance, which is how we do now. And then we have removed the words "in its regular business meeting," and the reason, and added a period at the end. And the reason we have removed the words in its regular business meeting is that limits the time the board of directors can act upon this to, in other words, you can't do it in a special meeting. You can't see there's a need that's come up of some sort and have a special meeting giving the week notice that we mentioned earlier, and have a meeting and deal with such a thing. So that's why that has a strike through, and we're suggesting that it be removed. All right, that's everything from Article 7. Let me talk to you for a minute about Article 8. And I guess I should be putting these up here so you can see them. I'm sorry, I've forgotten to do that. That's section 7. Here we go. Article 8, Elders. Here it is in its large form. I do hope you're following kind of along in your written thing, your written copy. You can make notes. So Article 8 says elders. We've added the words "or specially called business meeting." Once again, it says annual business meeting, which limits us to once a year. And if there's a vacancy for one reason or another, we need to appoint another elder or confirm another elder. It'll have to be at a specially called meeting. And under Section 3, Qualifications, we have removed the word "spirit-filled" and suggests that be replaced with "a mature believer." Spirit-filled is a good term, but I'm not really sure that everyone knows what that means. And again, this is a borrowed document that from a group with a specific Pentecostal testimony, and that's fine, but that spirit-filled terminology there is one of the ways they use to define their position. So that's actually defining a doctrinal position. And that's all well and good. I don't have any problem with that. I just think a mature believer is better and gives us more latitude and more leeway, and actually probably fits better with where we are, at least at this present time, doctrinally. And then in Section 4, meetings, it says the elders shall meet regularly. The meeting shall be called by the pastor or at least 2 elders. All members shall be notified of all meetings at least 1 week prior to any meeting unless an emergency exists. And that goes back to what we talked about earlier, just making sure there's plenty of notice. So that's Article 7 and Article 8. And our next video will deal with Articles 9 and 10, and maybe a little bit longer, as long as it doesn't get too long. So once again, put your comments below or your questions, or you can communicate otherwise. Thank you so much for your help in all of this. We need your participation and your help to make this whole thing happen. Thank you. God bless.